Guys, it's Maymay. Recently, I was asked if I was doing a graduation card or project for this year, and I decided I was, and I know I'm kind of late, but I think this is one you can do for now and make as a keepsake for later. So even if you were a little behind on your graduation projects, I think you'll like this one. So check this out. If you open the lid on this guy, it pops open. I'm gonna have to turn it sideways so you can see it. It pops open, and it's one of those pull-up cards. I forget what they're called. I think they're actually called pull-up cards. But it's not really a card. I was thinking it'd be cool. You could put like a gift card in here, maybe a mini album, and decorate each one of these. Shannon said, wouldn't it be cute if you did like kindergarten picture, first grade picture, second grade picture on these little things, and then put the little gift card in. And then when you give it to the recipient, they get this little mortarboard that they can sit around and enjoy for some period of time. Who knows? Just a little keepsake. So let me show you how to make it. It's actually super easy. So before we get started, I want to let you know that all the measurements are in the description below, as well as the blog post that I'm going to link for you guys, so you can get to that there. But I'm starting with a 9 by 9 inch piece of cardstock, and I'm going to score it at 2 inches all the way around. And I'm turning it and scoring it, and here's why. I want my box lid or my box edges to be the same height all the way around. So rather than going 2 and 7, I'm just doing it this way so I know I'm scoring them at the same place. So that's how I want to score the box bottom. Let's go ahead and score the box lid while we're here too. So this is our box lid. This piece is 7 1/8 by 7 1/8. Again, all that'll be in the description and blog post for you. And I'm going to score this one at 1 inch. I'm going to turn it, score it at 1 inch. Turn it, score it at 1 inch. And score it at 1 inch. Remember, 7 1/8 means it has a little bit of room to be the lid, a little bit of give in here, but by doing it this way, scoring it 1 inch all the way around, we don't have to worry about that 1/8 of an inch in anything. So there's that. Now we have another piece I want to score while I've got my scoreboard out. Okay. Now for our next bit, we want to make the little accordion pieces that go up and down between the lid and the box. So you're going to need a piece that is 12 inches by 9 inches, and we're going to go ahead and do our score marks before we cut it apart. And the reason for that is I would rather score all of them at once than 6 different strips, okay? So here's your score marks. On the 12-inch side, you're going to score at 1 1/2, at 3, at 4 1/2, at 6, at 7 1/2, at 9, and then at 10 1/2. And all your scoring for all 6 strips is now done, okay? So now let's go to our trimmer and cut these guys apart. So on our trimmer, I just want to cut them to 1 1/2 because my strips are going to be 1 1/2 by 12, and I need 6. So if I've done my math right, I should be able to get 6 of them out of this piece that we have here, and all our scoring is done ahead of time. I love that. I did it the first time for my sample. I cut the strips and then I did the scoring, and I was like, it's kind of a waste of time. If we score the whole sheet at one time, we don't have to come back and do that. Now, I want to encourage you on this particular paper to use something double-sided because one of them is going to be to the inside and one to the out. You're going to see both sides. So use something where you see something cute on the outside and the inside. Of course, you can just decorate solid paper if you want to. It doesn't matter. Now, all you want to do here is fold these accordion style. I'm just going to run through and fold all 6. And I'm not being real precious about this because it doesn't matter. When the whole project's done, you cannot tell if these are a little crooked or just not quite perfect little accordions. And you can always press them on the table and then kind of retrain them in your hand. But just get these folded. Now, you're also going to need these 2 pieces. These pieces are 4 1/2 by 4 1/2, and you need it twice. This is going to be what hides our workings in the bottom of the box and in the top. Here's what we need to do to these guys. We need to make some marks. This is going to be the piece that shows. I'm going to flip it over to the back and make some registration marks, just so I know where to glue my cute little what would they be like? Accordion pieces, we'll just call them that. So I'm going to take a pencil and my ruler. Now, your Tim Holtz ruler happens to be 1 1/2 inches wide, so that comes in real handy, but you want to make marks 1 1/2 inches apart because that is the width of your little accordion pieces. So I'm going to place this here and draw a line, and then I'm going to go to that same mark with my ruler and draw a line. If your ruler's not 1 1/2 inches, just mark 1 1/2 inches and then 1 1/2 inches away and make those 2 marks. And then flip it over and do the same thing. You're basically just making a tic-tac-toe mark. And by the way, I have to give credit for this. So I started looking for an idea. I was on YouTube looking, and I discovered this channel called Natasha's Toolbox. I want to make sure I give her credit. No, Natalia's Toolbox. Make sure I say that right. Natalia's Toolbox. I'll link her in the description below. She did a version of this. Mine's slightly different. Hers is a different box, but she's where I got my inspiration from, and I want to make sure I give credit where credit is due. All right, so I'm going to do this one the same, and we'll get right back together. So now I want you to take one of your pieces that you did the little grid on, and as long as you are making them the same, it doesn't matter. But for me, this is the one that's going to be on the bottom, okay? So if that matters to you, think about that. Now, I'm going to be gluing 6 of these little accordion pieces on, so let me show you what that means. You don't have to do 6. You can do 3. You can do 4. You can do the 4 corners. You can do here and here, here and here. You could do the 4 middles, wherever you want them. I just thought, let's put a bunch on. Now, I want this white to be facing out. So that means I want to glue this down this way, where the white is showing here. Because when I glue this into the box, this will be the inside and this will be the outside, okay? So pick which pattern you want to show on the outside. The other thing that is important is to make sure that you don't let your little accordion pieces hang off the edge. So even if your cuts aren't exactly perfect or your little squares here don't match up exactly perfect, it's better to overlap your line but have it clean to the edge here, because that's what'll show on the front. Okay, so I've got these 2 here. Now I want to put one right here, because like I said, I'm putting a bunch on. You don't have to put this many on. You can just put on 4 in the corners, in the middles, any way you want to do it. And I noticed that I folded this one differently, so let me get it in order with everything else so that it'll lay right. There we go. And then here. So you see what I'm saying? You don't have to put these in the grid marks that I put them, but the trick is the size is made so that they all fit very well inside the box. All right, so now when we turn this over, we end up with what looks like a robot or a spider, something like that. But this is now, I got this one folded wrong too, I don't know how I did that. This is now our piece for inside. Now let's do a little decorating before we put this into the box. So while I've got this like this, I want to show you what I'm going to do. I have punched 1-inch circles, 24 of them, because I want to put one on every other little accordion piece, like so. There's 4 on each one of these. And then I want to flip it over and put it on the other ones as well. So I have 24. I've actually cut 25 in case I mess up. Now I'm going to look through my stamp sets and see what cute little things I can stamp on here. Or, and I saw this done and I think it's super cute, you could write, "Way to go, I love you, so proud." Like, you could do that with your own handwriting, and I think your recipient would love that. I think that they think that's super cool to have your handwriting inside of here like it's a card, and they'll probably think, how did they write on the inside and the out? Maybe you could even write, 24 things that you're proud of them for, or whatever. And you don't have to do 1-inch circles. You could do a 1 1/4 inch by 1 1/4 inch square and glue on here. I just wanted something different. So let me see what we're gonna stamp on here. So you guys, I went through all my stamp sets. Some of these are Mother's Day stamp sets. Some of these are Father's Day stamp sets. Some of this, I did Alton and Olivia, which is our graduation set. I also pulled out tiny faces because I think that'll be cute. And look, I'm going to go through and stamp several times each one of these. This says "You are amazing." So I'm going to do this a couple times because it can go all around. You can say the same word a few times. So I'm going to do this one like 4 times. I have the little mortarboard hat from the Alton and Olivia set. It may be a little large. It may not. It may fit just right, but I think it'll be cute enough to be able to tell what it is. And I think that'll be cute. Oh, yeah, you can see that perfect. So little graduation hats in here. Can you imagine what you can do? I did not have a whole lot of time to think about decorating because I wanted to make sure I got this film for you guys as quickly as I could. There's no telling what you could do. As a matter of fact, if you'll go looking, look for accordion cards. I think that's what they're called, accordion cards. You will be surprised. I also pulled out of the Father's Day set Happy and Day because I'm sure that graduation day is a happy day for all of our grads. So I'm going to put happy day instead of happy Father's Day, just happy day. Isn't it cool when you can dig into stamp sets you don't even know will work? Like sometimes we think we have to have a specific set, but these are working great. So happy day. So I got all those stamped. Now let's bring our mechanism back over and let's glue these guys in. So I'm gonna glue them on both sides. I'm gonna start on the other side first. Now remember something, okay? This panel here is gonna get glued in, so we don't need to decorate it. It's gonna be another piece like this. So we only have to start one panel down. I'm gonna take my glue, and what I'm gonna do, for time's sake, is put one here, one here, one here, and then I will pick these guys up and place them in. Just different ones, it doesn't matter. I would think as long as they're not all the same, you know. And I'm gonna run down and do this. Imagine doing this with stickers or with bling or with anything. You could do this with any number of things. I did not make enough to do the inside. I thought I did, but my number was off, and I'm not surprised by that because of math. But I'm not going to do any more right now because I need to show you how to assemble this, and time is getting away from me because I need to get this to you guys as soon as possible. Okay, so finish your decorating. You can do whatever you want on the inside. Now what we're gonna do is assemble the top portion. So you're gonna need your other piece of blue. For me, it's blue. For you, it might be a different color, but our other piece that has the grid. And here's what you're gonna do. I just placed mine like this, and then I just put glue in the same places that my other ones are. And I'm just gonna grab the top of it, okay? And I'm gonna glue that down just like we did and in the same grid spots. And don't worry, you'll be able to get this all put together like it needs to be in the end. This is your middle piece that's gonna hold the two pieces together. So just do these up just like you did the other side. Now you've probably seen these made before where they do it with like a little cross section and some circle punches and things like that. I didn't want to have to do that much work on this one. I wanted it to be a little easier. And I also wanted to cover the underneath of the hat a little more. So you'll see, I felt like if this was a card and I wouldn't have like a box at the top, I might want to do that little crossover mechanism that looks so dainty. But since this is going to be completely pretty much hidden under the top of the box, I thought we might as well make it easy on ourselves and do our little connector like this, and life will be much easier. All right, so we've got all these glued down. Now, this will be the piece that connects. So what you'll do, just go ahead and make sure everything's folded the way it needs to be folded to kind of close up. And again, remember how I told you you could kind of retrain these guys? It won't matter in the end. They will kind of just pop around kind of silly, and nobody's gonna know if one's folded a little different than it should be. So there's that one. Get this guy in. Just like tucking them into their little homes. That little guy in. He didn't want to go in. I had him a little backwards. That one's right. Okay, so then I'm just going to squish this down and sit this aside. See how cute it is, how it pops up? So we'll come back to that later. Let's go back to the pieces we scored earlier. So let's make the lid first. This is our little lid piece that we scored. Let me put my pen in my glue before I forget. So we're gonna do classic box lid, okay? Nothing you haven't done before. So on our score marks, what we wanna do is on the long piece here in the middle, we wanna cut that score mark away up to where they cross over, and then we're gonna do an angle cut in, okay? And we're only gonna do that on this long centerpiece. So here again, we wanna cut the score mark away. So we're cutting on the right-hand side of the score mark and then cut in on an angle. Do you see what I did there? All right, we're gonna flip it around and do the same thing over here. So we're gonna slice up, angle in. That angle size does not matter as much as just having it. You'll want it in a few minutes. It does come in handy. And then we're gonna do the same thing here. Cut the score mark away and cut in. This guy is easy, easy, easy to assemble. All right, now what we wanna do is fold and crease all of this. I'm gonna start with my tabs, and I just like to bring them over and make sure that they line up on the edge here and then crease them down. So you can see I'm just gonna fold that over, make sure this edge lines up and crease. There we go. And I'm not using my bone folder. You could, but what I like to do on those is just get them folded to where they'll kind of bounce back. Now here, I'll use my bone folder in the middle. Those little tabs need to have a little bounce so they'll stay where they're gonna go. And these guys need to stay nice and square. So just slide that down. go. One more time. Now we can assemble. This is so easy. We're going to just glue our tabs in. So we have this little tab here on the side. We're going to add glue and glue it in, just like so. I promise y'all, I tried to make this super easy for you because if you're having to do it last minute, you literally could make this project last minute. It might not seem like you could, but you can, especially if you're just going to kind of create it to be like a little gift card holder. So there's either a gift card in the bottom of the box, or I think it'd be so cute to make a little small mini album, like one of those one sheet mini albums that you just cut one sheet of cardstock and fold it to make a little mini album. Would be so cute. Or a little brag book built to size would fit inside there. You never know. Somebody up front said you could add candy and a gift card. You could do all kinds of stuff inside because technically you have a box in there. So you could put jewelry in. Wouldn't that be cute if there was jewelry in the bottom? Maybe a little jewelry box in the middle. Super cute. So there's our lid. Let's make our base. Now for the base, we have to do a little fancy footwork. And here's what I'm going to suggest. Go ahead and do all your folds and creases first. Okay, you'll be glad you did in a minute. So we're going to fold and crease, and we're going to fold and crease. And by the way, there's no gluing of this base. This is that easy. You don't have to glue this like we did the lid to make a box. So we've done that. Now what I want to do is take my trimmer out, and I want to do an angle cut from this score mark to this score mark. I'm going to make the mark and then I'll show you, or make the cut and then I'll show you what I'm doing. I'm lining up score mark to score mark in my trimmer, and we just need to take that bit of bulk away. You see that? So we're going from score mark to score mark all the way around, taking that bulk away. Now listen, sink your blade, go up and down. You'll get a much better cut this way. Don't try to go from the edge. If you do, sometimes if your blade is not sharp or if it's getting dull, it can kind of wrinkle the page. So what you do, sink your blade up and down. Okay, then you get nice sharp corners. This is a very fibrous paper and it loves to leave fibers in my cutting track. All right, so sink the blade up, down. Perfect. Now we can fold this guy. So here's what you do. You've seen this before, okay? What we're gonna do is working out here, I like to kind of push to that score mark real quick just to kind of get to that point, to the corner. And we're gonna take this line and fold it to this line. So watch what'll happen. This box is gonna lift up. I'm gonna bring that line to this line. And then on the inside, I'm going to crease that down, okay? Now I'm gonna show you that every time so you can see it. So I'm gonna come right here and get that little part good and creased. I'm gonna bring this score mark to this line. So the box is gonna lift up. I'm gonna try to do it where my hand does not get in the way. And I line that edge up, and then on the inside, this part you won't be able to see now because of the box. I crease that piece down. So you see what we're doing? We're making like a pleat. So again, get that little guy nice and square, and then line that line up. And you'll be able to do this with both your hands because I'm doing it where you guys can see. So this is not hard. This is super easy. One more time. Do that number to get it started. Bring it down. If I can do it with one hand, you guys can do it with both your hands. All right, so there's our base. Now let's assemble this guy. So let's go back to our little piece that we got all nice and folded. And you want to make sure you're using it in the right way. See how my words go? I want to make sure I'm gluing the base to the base and the top to the top, okay? So I'm going to glue, I think I'm going to glue the top down first. I'll tell you why. Because the base opens up flat, I can get my hand in there better than I can into the lid, okay? So again, making sure my wording is right, I need to flip this over to make sure my words stay right. I'm gonna glue this down inside this box, all right? So let's take our glue again and let's get to going. We're gonna run our glue around the edge. You could sticky tape this if you wanted to. I kinda like using the glue because it gives me a second, and I mean a second to kind of move it around. So I'm gonna place this in the top. Doesn't matter orientation as far as mine is concerned, as long as I have the top up and the base down. And you're gonna end up with like 1/4 of an inch all the way around, and you just stick that down. Now you'll see why I chose to glue the top in first. You gotta trust me on that, okay? So the top is glued in first. Now I can get my hand in there and squish that one down if I need to. Like I can get inside of there and move this paper around. But on the bottom, you're really gonna wanna do that. So let's glue the bottom in. I think this is cute. I have seen these cards, but they just weren't something that spoke to me until I realized I could turn them into like a box. I was like, oh, I like that idea. That makes sense. All right, so I'm going to get my hand in here, okay? And I'm going to bring my box over. And in a way that you're not going to be able to see, there's nothing I can do to make that easy for you to see. I've got my hand in there, and again, we're leaving about 1/4 of an inch inside of the edge of the box. I don't know how to make that where you can see it. I apologize. But you just glue this down, and see how I can put my hand in there and rub it? It's easier to do this one because I can open this box up. So I think this is the easiest way. Okay, so see what we did? We just glued it in. All right, now you're gonna pull your sides up. And the best thing to do is like pull up 3 sides first and get the lid onto the back. See how easy that goes if I do it that way? And then tuck these little guys in, and then bring up this side and close it. Once you've closed it, it's no big deal. It's ready for the, once you put your goodies in and you've closed it, you're just gonna carry it like this. Now we need 1 piece of chipboard. I'm using 1 piece of black 6x6 chipboard. Before we put it on the box, I need to make a hole because I want my tassel to tuck inside. So let me show you what I'm gonna do to find the center. So I'm just gonna lay this guy onto my cutting mat where a point is at a line and a point is at the line at the bottom. And because this is not gonna show because I'm gonna glue this down, I'm gonna put my pencil mark in here so I can see. So I'm gonna run my ruler top and bottom and make a mark here, okay? Then I'm gonna turn it and do that again. You don't need a fancy hole punch for this. I know you're thinking, how am I gonna hole punch that chipboard? Trust me, I got a trick for you. So line this up, do that number. Now, if you have a big bite, the Crocodile Big Bite, which I do, but I'm not gonna use it. I wanna show you guys a way to do it that you can do it. Use your big bite, but I'm gonna use this guy. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna place it in that center point, okay? And I'm gonna kind of drill. I'm gonna drill in, I'm gonna pick up my chipboard, and here's what I love. Because this goes to a solid kind of shape, it's not a cone at the end, it kind of goes to this flat or kind of cylindrical shape. Let me show you what you get. You get a really nice hole, because you can see here it's not cone shaped all the way up, it kind of levels out. The only thing is it pushes all that to the front, okay? There's a couple things you can do. You can cut this away. I used my scissors a while ago and cut it away. Or you can kind of push it in like this and then take your little dude again to the center and press that down, and it'll just kind of clean that hole up for you a little bit and make it flatter. It's really not going to show. You're not going to see that. By the time you put your tassel in, you won't really see that anymore. So this is where our tassel is going to live. So now I want to show you. I'm going to show you how to make a tassel, okay? I want you to stick around for that, but I want to show you these. We have these bookmark tassels in the store where they come in multiple colors or the black. I'm just going to show you the black because I didn't want to open a package, but there is a package of multicolors. So you could pick a color that matches your child's school. If you glued a little button here with foam on the back, you wouldn't even have to put a hole. Just glue a little button and let this little guy hang off. This little tassel is the exact height of our box, and it is super cute. Now I'm going to show you how to make the tassel like I did in case you don't have these guys. But because I want to show you how to make a full tassel. But that is adorable. This was Shannon's idea. She's like, oh, I thought you would use a bookmark. And I went, I never even thought about that. It's perfect. We'll make sure we link those in the products for you guys. All right, let's make a tassel. To make the tassel, here's a little quick, easy way to do it. Now, there's lots of ways to do it out there. This is how we're going to do it today. So I've cut for myself a piece that's pretty long. Let me see how long this is so I can tell you. It's about 13 inches, which is more than I need, but I'm always afraid not to give myself enough, so it's a little more than you need. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to take this piece and just kind of hold it here. You could tape it down. You could use your tweezers to hold it. It doesn't matter. That's where it's going to go. And this is going to make my tassel. Now, I'm using this thick stuff. You don't have to use this thick stuff. You can use floss, DMC floss, whatever you want to do. But here's how I'm going to do this. So I'm just going to hold this string up here. It doesn't have to be perfect. I'm going to take this end and put it at the bottom of this piece of chipboard. This chipboard happens to be 6 inches long. It does not have to be 6 inches. You can do it whatever length you want your tassel to be. And then I'm going to wrap it. And you wrap it as many times as how you want your tassel thick. I made mine pretty thick. I don't remember if I did 4 wraps or 5 wraps. Let's do one more. You can always trim them off if they're too long, but that's what I'm going to do. All right, so that string is in the middle of that. I don't have to hold it anymore. It's in the middle there, okay? And what I want to do is where I've wrapped it, I want to cut that end away. So I'm just going to cut that off, and that gets my spool out of the way. Now what I want to do is I want to come up here to the top, and I want to tie this in a knot. This is just, I mean, there are so many ways to make a tassel. There's tassel builders, there's tassel, you know, tools to make tassels with. This is just super easy. So here's what I'm going to do. So I'm tying a knot at the top, okay? Then at the bottom, I want to cut these loose. Let me get a different pair of scissors that'll kind of get in there good. So I want to come down here and just cut these like this. There we go. Now my tassel comes loose, and what I need is my knot strings at the top, my tassel at the bottom. So you see that's going to be our tassel. I might have made this one a little too thick. Now here's what I did. You could use anything. You could use some like shiny thread to wrap around here. You might have some piece of metal or something. You might have something you want to wrap around here, but here's what I do. I take some of this shiny washi tape because it works really well. I'm going to just take myself a piece of it, okay? And coming down right under the knot, you don't have to go very far into the knot because you do want that knot to kind of be there. I am going to wrap this washi. I'll turn it where you can see it. I'm going to wrap this washi on itself slightly just to kind of get me going. And then I'm going to wrap this around. And I want to wrap it as tight as I can all the way around. Now, this is washi, so it's not going to stay permanently. I'm going to add a little glue just to be sure that it will stay. But I want a nice good wrap here. There we go. And now at the end, I'm going to add some glue. Right where it overlaps. And you can't even tell that this is kind of wonky torn because that glitter just goes right into itself. Now the other thing I like to do is I like to come down here to the bottom and give it a bit of a haircut because you want your tassel to be the same length at the bottom. So I just come to my shortest piece and that's where I do my haircut. I just grab all my scissors today, just whatever's close to me. There we go. Now let's put it into our mortar board. This is our little top piece, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my bead threader and I'm going to send it up through the back. Remember, the back is the pencil mark, okay? Send it up through the back, and I'm just going to put the ends of this through my bead threader. I don't want too much. I don't want to have to double it up or have to pull it through too awful much. Let me feed that through. And then we're going to pull that down and then just gently work this in. And it will go in, but it's a tight fit, and you want it to be a tight fit because you want it to hide that hole. You can always add a brad or something else. I'm going really gently. I don't want to tear anything. You can always add a brad or something to the top, which would be cute. Here's what I did. I didn't want that to hang like this. I wanted it to hang just like if it was a real hat, right? So I did that, and you can see here, it leaves us this long piece. I didn't leave myself too awful much. I left myself some, but not too awful much. And here's what I'm going to do. I'm not going to tie a knot. You can, but I'm not going to. I'm going to cut this about a good 1/4 of an inch away from the base there. And I'm going to fray this. And I'll show you why I'm going to do it. I don't want to knot because I don't want to build up any thickness between the two pieces. So I'm going to do this. And I'm going to take my glue and put it on here. You'll see, this will be so great. I've done this in the sample. Then I'm going to take that glue and smash this string down. Just get it stuck down. Little more glue. If you don't want to use your finger, use a sponge, put a glove on, something like that, and just get that melted down in there, basically. You could do this with hot glue too. Obviously use a spatula for that, but I just wanted to do that so I didn't get a big thick knot. All right. And now this gets glued to our box. That's how easy it is. So now, and here's the other thing. I almost messed up. Don't put the glue on the mortar board. Leave that over here. Put the glue on here. Okay. So that way, you know that the hat is getting glued where it needs to, because some of this is going to hang over. You want your chipboard to hang over the edge. And you want to make sure you get your glue as close to the edge as you can. So now what I'll do is take this and flip this over. And I'm going to just place it to where it hangs off even all the way around. Just take a look. Oh, that was a pretty good shot. Right there needs a little adjusting. and you just kind of eyeball center it. Doesn't have to be perfect. We don't do perfect. And just keep that pressed until it adheres. That's all you got to do. And once it is glued and dried, look at your little box. It's so cute, right? And it's so easy. It's hard for me to show you guys on camera because I have to turn it sideways. Let me get it to where I can turn it sideways. But see what you get? And this whole bottom opens up. So how cute is that to give to somebody? And like right down here, put a box, like a ring box or candy or a little mini album or money. Just put money in here. You could hang something from the center. If you just wanted to have like money hang from the middle, you could do that. But this box bottom allows you to have space in there to get your hand in. It's not hard to get your hand in because of this box bottom, the way it pops open. So there you go, guys. That is my project for graduation 2021. I think it's cool. I think it's a little something different, something our kids would really love to have and keep. Here's the deal. If you make one of these, I want to see it. Y'all always do better than me. You always take it a step further. You always do better. And I want to see what you guys do and what your ideas are to fill this guy up with. I think you'll do so much better. So please share your projects with us over on our customer gallery at maymaymadeit.com. It is linked in the description. Also, we are on a quest to 300,000 subscribers. I want to do a massive giveaway, but I do not want to announce my plans for what I'm giving away until we hit 300,000 so I can know what restrictions are in place at the time so I can make the plans, if you know what I'm saying. So be sure to hit that red button. It's free to subscribe. It just helps us get to 300,000 quicker. And if you want to know what I'm posting and when I'm posting, be sure to hit the little bell beside it so you can set your notifications to get an email when I upload videos to YouTube. Thanks so much for being here today. And until next time, bye now.